Okay, I'd like to call to order October 25th, Village of Vicksburg's Park and Recreation Committee meeting at 7 o'clock. Sandra, if you could do a roll call.
Jenny Holmes,
Here.
Julie Merrill,
Here.
Rob Peterson,
Here.
Aaron Gunnett,
Here.
Chad Kissinger,
Here.
and Sandy DeVito is also here.
Wendy Fields does have an excused absence. Moving along to number 3, the approval of agenda as presented.
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
I second the approval.
I have one comment to make. We are missing the approval of the minutes from the September, would be the 27th meeting, if we could add that as an agenda item.
Motion to add that to the agenda.
Second. Are we now, shall I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended? I don't think this is Robert's Rules of Order, but I will so move.
Second.
And if we can get approval on that by a yay vote?
I vote yay.
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 Aye.
Aye.
The next item we had was Community Cleanup Day. We have been in discussions, oh, I'm sorry, we need to approve the minutes as presented by Sandra. We need a aye vote on that.
Aye.
I think we need the motion.
Oh,
I motion.
we haven't done it in person in such a long time.
I'll second.
Now, if we can get a aye vote for anyone that would like to approve the minutes from the September meeting as currently presented.
Aye.
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 Now, we'll move along to Community Cleanup Day. We have been in a discussion with Vicksburg Lions and Vicksburg Rotary Clubs. In past years, they have had a Community Cleanup Day, and we have in the past focused on the Vicksburg Historical Village, Sunset Park, and Clark Park. And with COVID restrictions, we've been unable to have a big event like we have in the past, but we have put this on as a event that we are inviting all community members to come and attend. It will be Saturday, November 13th. Right now it's regardless of weather. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit better than it has been the past week. From 9 to 12, and we're asking any community member that would like to join to show up at one of those 3 locations. Bring your rakes or tarps or your favorite, I guess, fall cleanup implements to help us with raking and some weeding and just general cleanup of those 3 areas before we get into the winter months. I think if we can attend, usually the Lions takes sort of advocacy and ownership of what the Historical Society is requesting to be done at the Historic Village. But if we could have a couple from the Park and Rec Department or Committee take ownership and kind of see in advance what needs to be accomplished at Sunset Park and Clark Park and make sure that those items get completed, that would be very helpful.
Historically, the Lions also took care of Sunset Lake Park.
Of the beach area.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not like the areas that we have focused on, like around the playground and around the sign.
Right. I usually see them all over the park.
How do we want to let you know what needs to be done for those, Jenny?
If you want to make a list and email it, and then we will make sure whoever's there gets the copy of that list. And there might be some items that we have overlooked in the past, or that might need attention this year, since it has been a few years since we've had a good community-wide cleanup at those areas.
I'd be happy to help out at Clark Park. I was down there, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something, and where we transplanted all those plants, there were some weeds coming in, but there's some I'm not sure if they're irises or not. So, like babies. So anyway, I'd be happy to work out in there or wherever. So
That'd be
we'll see.
appreciated. The
Yeah.
weeding might be a little bit higher level of skill set that we're definitely looking for, so that we don't take up actual plants versus weeding. So that would be great if you could take ownership of that.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments about the community cleanup day? It'll be great to have people out and about in our parks again. Moving along, one of the other items that we discussed at the September meeting that I believe Chad had brought up at a previous meeting was, as far as the Parks and Rec Committee goes, we've had a pretty good handle on the parks and what we would like to see for the parks, but we wanted to focus next year, as we're coming out of restrictions, hopefully, on some more recreational ideas to offer to the community. I keep hearing that the Historic Society had just amazing numbers at the Harvest Fest, so I think we're seeing that people would like to get out and definitely utilize the great parks that we have, especially with some of the improvements that we're going to be seeing over the next year or so in those parks. And we started working on a document to just put together different recreational ideas. I sent the link out, and if we could just start working on that, and if we have any comments, or if there are any ideas that we would like to add to it, and we can fully discuss those ideas and address the ones that we see we could implement in the next year or two. I don't know if you had a chance to look at that document.
I think it's a really great comprehensive list of some really good ideas to start, and lots of different focus areas as well.
Agreed. Jenny, I like how you have it broken out into different, like you have goals and then set like social, arts in the park, wellness, all those different things, and then per park, it's done really well. So I like that. I'll be adding to it. I see that this one's editable, so I'll add to this tonight or in the next couple days.
Great. Any other comments on that? Or is there anything that we had missed from our September meeting? Okay.
Just a question. So can the public at large submit their ideas of what they wish for? Like, and then just see if anything comes of it,
For a public event, I'm assuming their first stop would be with the village hall or village manager to pass that along to us. Is that the process you would like?
If we had a recommendation from a citizen or a group of citizens, we'd certainly inform this group as well as the council, and if it was going to be a process we engaged in, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So,
But no, we definitely welcome.
okay. I just didn't know if they could just see the brainstorming that's already went on and get inspired by the Google document. Don't know.
Well, it's like a working internal document. I think when we get it to like a finalized and we
Okay.
decide these are the different activities or events that we would maybe want to partner with, that's something that we could then publish
Okay.
our ideas and
Okay.
see if there are any other groups, just like the Lions and Rotary, that would like to move these ideas along with us.
Yeah, and individuals who are interested, especially in the parks and rec activities within the village, we'd encourage them to participate in this meeting. One thing that we're doing here tonight is live streaming on YouTube. It'll be archived on YouTube to continue to get word out that this, this group is together to kind of assist the council in recommendation and advice as it relates to the parks and recreation within the community.
I see that as the next step as we put together our recreation plan, is a presentation hopefully to the council with ideas that we would like to move forward with and get their support
Okay.
for some of these activities as well.
Yeah, I'll let the group know that initial plans, the next formal governmental process will be in the next fiscal year after July 1st of 2022, built into that budget presentation, hopefully approved by the council, will be a comprehensive update to the village's master plan. It'll be a different process than was taking on before. We'll start with the master plan, and then in subsequent fiscal years move to Parks and Rec and the DDA plans, where conversely in multiple opinions, kind of the reverse order was done last time when those sub-plans were created and then a master plan. But we'll start, our recommendation to council will be start with a master plan, take all of the fiscal year 22 to 23 to have that with multiple avenues of input, and ultimately the written plan produced prior to June 30th of 2023. And then from there you'll have a good framework, and a lot of the legwork and data will be done for the Parks and Rec plan as well as the DDA plan.
Any other thoughts, comments, ideas about the recreational plan? I know it's very much in its infancy, but something that I'm excited about to bring to the community. Okay, November meeting. Typically, we do not have meetings in the cold months because we're kind of on a standstill during those months. In the past, I believe it's been up to the Park and Rec Committee to determine if we had a November meeting. Then when we started again, I don't know if there's a need for a November meeting this year, or what your thoughts are.
My opinion is, especially if we're working at developing the recreation side of our Parks and Recreation plan, most of that work would be done in the colder months, and the implementation would be done in the summer. And if we don't have meetings through the winter, we will very much be behind when things warm up in the spring.
Agreed.
So I'm hearing we want to have our November meeting as planned. Do we need to make a motion for that?
I'll have to look to, it'd probably be best tonight to go ahead and make that motion for those months. I'm going by memory. We usually post the meetings for the entire year, and just in the event we did not post a meeting date and time for November, December, and January, we'll use this meeting as that. I don't know by memory if we posted the meetings and in years past we've canceled them, but just to cover us that way would be my recommendation. There could be some impact of time. The next Parks and Rec, I believe, would be the 22nd of November, I believe. There'll be a request, I know, going to the council to move the November 15th council meeting to November 22nd. So we might have to look at the calendar. We do have the option of a 5th Monday being in November to make the November Parks and Rec meeting November 29th. Then there would not be a conflict if the council meeting gets moved. And I'll look quick and pause, let Rob speak on that, and I'll look to see the December date, see if it conflicts with Christmas, and we might take care of both those dates.
Well, my motion is that we have a combined November-December meeting on November 29th and continue meeting on the fourth Monday of the month in January through the remainder of the calendar year.
I agree with that because it would be December 27th that we would meet, and that might be a little difficult for travel and holiday.
Was that a second?
Yes. So we'll look at, Jim, do you want to get back with us on the date if we
No,
need to move it?
November 29th at 7 o'clock would work. It would work for this room. I would clarify one thing. I believe the motion is to hold the November meeting for Parks and Rec on November 29th at 7 p.m. and cancel if there was any scheduled December meeting of Parks and Rec, and then have a January one on the fourth Monday. If that is Mr. Peterson's motion, I think to clarify the record, the second should come from another board member, not the chair.
Right.
But go.
That does match my intention.
Oh, if that's your motion, I'll support it.
Yes, all in favor of changing or, I guess
What Jim said.
clarifications of the next Park and Rec meeting is November 29th at 7 PM. We will not have a December meeting, and then the meeting after that to start the new year will be January 24th at 2022. Is that the, okay. So all in favor, say aye.
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 Next up, I asked Mr. Mallory if he would give us an update on the infrastructure projects, how they've affected the parks, and any timelines that we may see, and any milestones that are coming up.
Sure. First on, wanted to update everyone, the fundraising for Oswalt Park formally for the purposes of match money concluded, I believe it was October 18th. We exceeded the goal by quite a bit on the fundraise, so we both will receive the $50,000 from MEDC in the state of Michigan, as well as $50,000 from the Vicksburg Foundation. That bid package should be distributed this week. It could have been distributed today, I'm not sure, but certainly this week that bid package will go out, and those sealed bids will be open the week of November 22nd. We have put within the bid package a schedule of completion that would have the park completed by the car show in 2022, which I think is the second weekend in June. So that is moving forward. Specific to the infrastructure project, obviously impacted a little bit of the weather, especially the last few days. We've got nearly 3 inches of rain the last 48 hours. But if we get cooperation from the weather, this week we anticipate curbs being placed on Main Street. If people see it's been staked out for the curbs, and interesting, as you look at the stakes, understand that the curbs will actually be 3 feet further into the road than where the stakes are. They're a 3 foot offset, and it'll give a pretty well defined how Main Street will be, with quite an exceptional area in the middle, which basically will connect Liberty Lane East and Liberty Lane West. Was approved through the Planning Commission and DDA, as well as the council, to utilize $9,000 of downtown development money to purchase an additional group of tables and chairs for those pop-out areas. When we originally designed the streetscape, we didn't have a social district. So we've kind of reevaluated where we've put benches and what size tables. The large pop-out in front of China One in the Hideaway will have 3 to 4 46-inch tables with ADA compliant forced seating, and all of the furniture and accessories downtown are bolted into the cement. So could be moved by us, but not easily, and we want to try to make it right. And I envision it being added to once we see the use of it as we go through the 2022 calendar year. Another group of tables will be put on the pop out on Liberty Lane West or East, the east side of Main Street. They'll be the bigger 46-inch tables, with the east side or west side of that area having the stand-up cafe, smaller 26-inch table configurations. There's multiple benches on each roadway, both back benches and non-back benches throughout downtown. We have made a decision that we are not going to replant the trees due to the lateness in the season. That those will be planted in the springtime. I'd like to remind, I guess, this group and the public that there will actually be more trees downtown than were prior to the project. There'll be different type of trees, but you can know where those trees are going to be located because there's a grate within the sidewalks identifying where a tree will eventually be planted, but that decision has been made. We are still evaluating putting out the furniture, whether we do that in the construction season. It is not near the top of our priorities. We want to make sure we get the sidewalks in as well as the asphalt in that. So there is a potential, and we'll advise all the groups in an update if a decision is made to hold off on the furniture being put in the spring as well. We've received probably 80% of the furniture. It is being stored at our DPW complex. So we have some that, due to supply chain and that type of stuff, which everyone's impacted, we're waiting on. But we'll make that decision here in the next couple weeks. But to the construction, a lot of the sidewalks, the bump out areas on Prairie Street, all of Main Street have a colored all the way through the cement design pattern with engineering specs. It's 3 different colors basically for my non-artist type crayon box that has about 9 crayons in it, brown colors, different shades of brown. Those 3 test pours were done down at Richardson and Prairie, and then we had the engineers make sure that it came out to the specs that were required, which it did. So the company, once we get weather to cooperate, will start pouring the cement of actually those color combinations on the sidewalk. You'll see some of the cement that was poured on Prairie Street will be cut out and redone. It didn't meet the specs that we had, so that'll be repoured as we go in the next 2 weeks. But schedule-wise, if we get the curbs in this week within probably 5 to 8 business days, so the end of the following week, we'll get asphalt on Prairie, the base coat of asphalt on Prairie, as well as Main Street. Kind of overlaps. We have the same asphalt company paving some other roads in the village. Mainly, the main road is Prairie from Boulevard to the west village limits. That'll be milled this week on Wednesday and Thursday, along with a couple other small sections. The alleyway behind the Hideaway that runs between Main and Kalamazoo is being redone. That'll be ground off down to the asphalt and repaved. Kalamazoo, Main Street, and Michigan from the Washington Street intersections will all be repaved. A larger section of Main Street from 1 block south of Washington as well. The alley those three streets I just mentioned will be pretty much in conjunction with the final paving downtown, and weather related. We do not want to bring the alley down to gravel unless we're good that we're on schedule to be able to pave either that same day or the very next day. So that'll be a little weather dependent, the alley. As I'll know more, we meet every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. The infrastructure team, the contractors and subcontractors, engineers, myself, our DPW. So subject to change tomorrow at 10, but we are on schedule to have downtown completed during this asphalt construction season. The project has put in the sewer on Washington Street between Maine and Michigan. They've also completed the storm work. There is a new water main to go in that block as well. That should, hopefully weather dependent, be completed this week. The project, since August, we knew was going to pause at Washington and Michigan. So it's our anticipation that block is also the streets rebuilt and paved prior to the asphalt plants shutting down. And then next spring, when the weather comes back, we'll complete the project that'll go down Washington to the lift station just past the parks. That will impact Clark Park as next spring. We're still waiting on the contractor to quote out, and they're waiting to provide that as it gets closer, so we know the cost. They have a better understanding of what it would cost. Would be the drainage system that we've asked them to quote out for Clark Park up by the kids' play structure and that. So that would impact that part. Other than that, it's going well. I know it's we fortunately worked with the Vicksburg Foundation, a big shout out to them, but created a grant opportunity for businesses impacted by the project. We had a criteria established in 4 different levels of monetary awards, but we were able to help 21 of our local businesses, and the total amount of money was $56,000. So it was anywhere from $1,000, $2,000, $3,250, or $4,200, depending upon the length they were impacted and how the businesses were totally impacted. So I like to point out that some neighboring communities have entered these projects recently and actually assessed businesses for the improvements done to sewer leads, sidewalks, and the like. That is not a decision or tack that we took in the village, and realizing the impact that it does have on a small community with substantial locally owned businesses. We're able to create an environment to be able to help them out financially. So I think that, again, a big thank you to the Vicksburg Foundation, but helped out those businesses, and we delivered those checks a couple weeks ago. Projects within this fiscal year that will still be completed that impact the parks are signage for the disc golf. Will probably, information will be sent out January, early February timeframe to look back to get some quotes on that. The little bit of delay there is to get the original artist drawings or computerized drawings. We think we can get those from Larry LeBond and hopefully get that moving forward, but we plan on that being done in this fiscal year, as well as the pickleball courts. I anticipate by the end of November that bid going out, and again, either being a 15-day or 30-day bid. We'll ship it to local contractors to complete that next spring and hopefully have those pickleball courts in use by the summer months for sure. So those are the 2 projects really that impact Parks and Rec that are still really on our radar. Signs for Clark Park and Sunset Lake will be put in yet this fall. We also have the social district that will reopen once downtown. And we anticipate we're going to have Christmas in the Village is scheduled to move forward this year in December. So if everything aligns properly, we'll have Christmas in the Village, a social district, and the social district permanent signs up. So answer any questions anyone has.
I think earlier this year, Aaron identified that the boardwalk in Clark Park needed some attention, and I thought that part of that was going to be addressed
Yeah,
this
contract.
year.
Yep. The contractor, it's a subcontractor in that project. It'll probably happen in the month of November. But the boardwalk will be completely replaced. The steps are now concrete going down. The boardwalk will be replaced just south of the observation deck, and all of the restaining due to the temperatures will be done next spring. So the observation deck and the boardwalk that's new will all be stained next spring.
And if I'm correct, the Sunset Lake Park Boardwalk and Fishing Dock were going to be a future project.
Yeah, I think that's going to become more involved than originally planned. We couldn't get a contractor to bid on the observation deck. That's what we originally looked at. So I think that in the future we'll have to look at a more comprehensive type situation for that park and to get appropriate contractors to look at it.
And I don't know if you've been on it lately, but it's feeling extremely unsteady. And I think somebody, if we're not going to be working on it soon, somebody should assess it to make sure it's going to make it and will be safe for people.
Sure. Probably the first step, if it's now, just be close it.
I've got a question. I saw a few days ago, we got a mini grant from like Bike Friendly Kalamazoo, and it looked like Alex was in on that. I think we're getting some bike racks, some stuff like that throughout the village.
Yeah, we had Bike Friendly Kalamazoo had an event in Vicksburg and provided Vicksburg with a total of $4,000, $2,000 for bike racks and $2,000 for helmets? Bike lights. So we're looking at utilizing the police department and having like a bike rodeo.
Oh, cool.
That we could use those bike lights as a participation gift, and also looking at, and this would be next spring, to see if we can bring a bike shop in. We did it in the city of Kalamazoo multiple times where they'll tune the kids' bikes up and go through bike safety and a bike rodeo and that type of thing. So that's how we're using it. But we anticipate with the bike racks that amount of money might secure 2 bike racks.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
yep.
If you don't have connections with the bike shop owners in Kalamazoo, let me know. Happy to do that on behalf of Parks and Rec.
10-4.
I had a question brought to me about the social district. What parks are involved with that? Like, they know Clark Park is, but would the old Veterans Park be part of that, or what's the area?
Yeah, the area, one, does not currently involve Clark Park. It involves Oswald Park at Main Street and Prairie, the one that we did the fundraising on. So that conceptual design had that in mind. And the exact boundaries are connected to our website under the social district, but basically go until the gazebo in front of Vickers on that side of the street. They do not include the south side parking lot or observation deck of the park. They end at Michigan Avenue. Then they go to Main Street, the heart of downtown, down to Washington, continuing on Prairie Street to Main Street Pub, in the back patio type area of Main Street Pub, but not the common areas or parking lot. None of the parking lots are included and none of the alleys are included. But the exact map is on the website, and then the permanent signs will have a QR code that brings up all the rules and the boundaries as well. But specific to parks, Oswald Park's included. That's the only park included. It will not surprise me, talking to the other cities that have seen this positive impact of creating a social district, that social district might expand in the future, at least staff recommending it to expand, but currently it just is Oswald Park.
It doesn't include the alleyways, but it does include Liberty lanes, right? Both sides
Yes.
with those? Okay.
Yes. Yep. We basically stopped it at the parking lot, trying to create a situation that people didn't walk to and from their vehicles with an open container. So, in Liberty Lane West would allow for smoking, but the rest of the social district by council action is smoke free. I think the technical term would be tobacco product free. Now that we're on YouTube forever.
Any other questions or?
Is there an idea for when Christmas in the Village will take place? A goal?
It's just come to me December 11th.
All right.
And
Thank you.
Alex gets all the credit for that and their committee they put together, so.
Any other comments or questions? Okay. Well, I would like to move along to public comments. However, there is no public here. Member comments. Why don't we start? Sandra?
No comments at this time?
Chad?
No comments at this time?
Aaron?
No comments?
Rob?
No comments.
Julie? Okay, well, and I have no comments. We'll go 6 for 6. So our next meeting will be November 29th at 7 p.m. here. And with that, I'd like to adjourn this meeting at 7:30. I don't have my glasses. Does that say 8?
Yes.
It's 7:38. All right, thank you.